One of the upsides of working for Allen and Unwin, from time to time I would meet authors and accompany them on media tours, television studios, local radio, press interviews, etc. The book in question was After Everest, published in 1977. This was the reason I found myself in a midweek lunchtime in Leeds in a restaurant, sitting at a table with a local bookseller, Sherpa Tenzing, Malcolm Barnes and myself. Malcolm Barnes, in fact, created the book from recollections and talks with Tenzing. Tenzing, in fact, was illiterate. Malcolm Barnes himself was a very interesting person, in fact, and at some point I might, in fact, make a video discussing his personality and his achievements. He was a mountaineer too, and in fact an acquaintance, I think quite a long-term acquaintance of Tenzing. He also edited The Mountain World. This was a publication that Allen and Unwin produced on a regular basis. But to give us a small insight into his personality, in fact, he actually ceased publication because he thought that mountaineering had become very technical and in fact far from the rather romantic image that he obviously appreciated and would attracted him. Tenzing was a very smiling man, rather quiet, modest. Yeah. There was no discussions of reaching the summit of Everest or anything to do with Hillary, but it was very, for me, very interesting because I've always been fascinated by Tibet. When he was telling me of his childhood, which was actually in Tibet, and I was particularly interested in Lhasa and the Patala, which of course he'd seen. And one must appreciate, of course, that being brought up as a child in Tibet at such high altitudes gave him a very distinct advantage when it comes to altitude mountaineering. It was a very interesting lunch and something of an honour. After the lunch, in fact, we all departed and in fact were taken to a rather steep crag on the outskirts of Leeds. It was very steep indeed, and you can imagine that the assembled media people who are not really renowned for their fitness, having to hump up this hill with themselves or their cameras or equipment. So it was like a stream of reporters and journalists and hacks, in fact, finding themselves on this steep crag with Tenzing. Tenzing, who at this time would be around 63 years old, in fact, no problem whatsoever. In fact, and he jumped from rock to rock with the elegance and surety of a mountain goat. In fact, it was a very interesting day and one that I remember very well indeed.
If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please subscribe.